Hello everyone and welcome back to Life as a Junior Doctor. My name is Nabeel and I'm a junior doctor working in the UK. In this video I'm going to be talking about how much you can expect a junior doctor to make in the UK. So when I say junior doctor, I do mean the juniorist of junior doctors. I'm a year one doctor. I graduated from med school in the summer of 2021 and started working also in the summer of 2021. My perception on the pay that a doctor gets has changed a lot over the course of my admittedly not too long life, but I distinctly remember prior to med school, I always was under the impression that doctors in the UK, wherever, are paid a very hefty amount of money. Actually going through university and spending time looking up the pay that junior doctors get in particular, and hearing doctors speak about their pay, my perception changed a little bit. I think the general message that was put across to me whilst I was actually undergoing training was that maybe the pay doesn't quite reflect what's gone into the whole training process, because it's not just a minimum of 5 years of studying in university. There's also the fact that you'll have had to have maintained really competitive grades and CV all the way back from the age of 15, 16 when you're doing GCSE exams in school and through to college as well. And the other thing was, I always found it tricky to land on a website or a video that would quite simply outline what kind of salary I can expect fresh out of medical school. There was always some complexity involved to it. So I was hoping in this video to break down in as simple terms as possible how much a year one, foundation year one doctor working in the NHS in the UK will earn. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, as I touched upon in my most recent video before this one, 5 things that have shocked me since working as a doctor, one of the things was actually trying to get to the bottom of the wage structure, or just the complexity that surrounds the actual pay structure as a junior doctor. So I'll go from the beginning. When I first found out, I was still in university, but once I found out where I'd been allocated to work during my foundation training years, I received, as you probably would do for most jobs, a contract of employment. And I'll show you what the bottom line figure on that contract of employment that I signed prior to working showed as what I should expect as my salary. So the full-time equivalent basic salary, blah, 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 is £28,808 per year. And when I first read that, I'll admit I was a bit disheartened actually, because on the contract of employment, there's no sort of breakdown of pre-tax, post-tax payments. So I just assumed this is, the basic, before any tax is paid, I'd be earning an annual amount of £28,000. Still actually a few £1,000s more than you'd expect as the average salary straight out of university in the UK. But if things were as simple as that, then, well, you could end the video here, I suppose. As it turns out, what's stated on that contract of employment does not reflect the actual number of hours that you work as a junior doctor. It's based on a basic working week of 37.5 hours or something in that ballpark, whereas in reality you're working upwards of 40 hours each week, and some of those hours are unsociable hours. So they're the shifts that take place, like night shifts and weekend shifts, which are at a different pay rate and obviously increase your salary. And the next layer of complexity is when you're working as a junior doctor, you change from department to department. So I only work in the same department for 4 months at a time, and then I move on. And with each change in department, there's a change in your working hours, and that reflects as a change in salary as well. So where am I at the moment? Well, I've worked for almost 8 months. So I've been in 2 different departments. So in this video, I'm going to break down what my pay has looked like based on these 2 chunks of 4 months, which will give a rough approximation of what you could expect to be earning over the course of a year. So the first department that I was working in was a general medical department. So when you start working in each department, similar to how I got a contract of employment letter, I was also given another document that would break down, essentially, I think how it does it is it tells you what you could expect to earn if you were working in this department over the course of a year. So in general medicine, I saw a figure here of £40,536. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a big smile on my face when that email came through. If we go through my actual payslip I took from the first month that I was working, the first full month payslip that I received whilst working that department, I can see that there were total payments for that month of £3,377.90 and total deductions of £651.37. So that's essentially saying each month working in general medicine I was earning about £3,500 and about £650 were going away in various forms of tax. So you have your standard, what we call PAYE, which is a form of tax, and then the national insurance tax. I can see about £225 each month was going away towards the pension scheme, and then there are just a couple of really small fees that come out that contribute towards the doctor's common rooms and the car park and things like that. And actually when you take that £3,300 a month pre-tax and multiply it by a 12-month period, it does come to approximately £40,000. So I'll say that working in general medicine at the hospital trust that I work at in the northwest of England in Cheshire, when you work in the general medical department you do a lot of weekend shifts and you do night shifts, so actual 8 p.m. to 8 in the morning shifts, and that's really the reason why you see a really inflated salary coming in while you're on a general medical rotation. I've spent the last 3 to 4 months working in the general surgery department, so I'll just quickly go through essentially the same numbers again for the payslip that I've been getting whilst working in the general surgery department. So this is the payslip that I got in December, and bear in mind in the month of December with Christmas, Boxing Day, I was actually working a fair number of what you'd call those out of hours bank holiday style of shifts, but just because I'd moved on to a different department by that point and the actual hours that I was working were a bit different, you can see the reduced total amount of pay, and it does vary quite a lot when you do change department. So in December in general surgery, total earnings of £2,900 and £816 went out as tax, leaving £2,100 actually paid into my account. Now when you take that 2,900 sum, which is the total amount for that month, and actually extend that over a 12-month period, it comes to £35,000, so £5,000 less than the previous department I was working in. Just to highlight where the difference in pay is coming when you compare the two departments, you can actually see that the basic rate is identical, £2,400. It's when you look at those out of hours payments where you see the big difference. So in the December general surgery payslip, you can see the out of hours totals were 260 and 250. Comparing that back to when I was working in the general medical department, 400, 270 and 240. So that's really why this isn't quite as simple as I'd like it to be. So essentially taking an average of what I've been earning over these two departments, an 8-month period, I've approximated that I can expect to earn between £35,000 and £37,500 before paying any taxes in my first year working as a doctor in the UK. This isn't the video where I will go on about how amazing that pay is or how I feel it's really unreflective of the work that I go in. The point of this video is just for the absolute clarity and explanation of, giving you an idea of how much it is that you can expect to earn as a new doctor in the UK. So all in all, the bottom line figure, I think, for my earnings as a foundation year 1 doctor in the UK before paying tax is in the region of £35,000 to £37,500. After tax, well, if you looked at the sort of figures after the deductions have been made of 2,100 and 2,800, it essentially works out as an average of actually seeing £2,400 coming into my bank account at the end of each month, and that works out as, post all my taxes, an annual income of about £28,800. So that's pretty much it for this video. I do hope you found it interesting or helpful. If you did, please do remember to drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you next time.